I've been affected with mental health in my life because I've grown up with one of my 4 brothers, the eldest. He was diagnosed with bipolar and has suffered quite severe depression throughout his young adult life. I found out about my brother's mental illness and his struggles in my early teen years. I think initially I didn't quite know the severity of what he was going through. I knew that he was struggling, and I knew that he'd been diagnosed with bipolar, and my mum and dad had chosen to tell me and help me understand what he was going through. But it got to the point where he attempted to take his own life, and that was, I guess, when I found that out, that was when I began to understand how severe what he was going through really was, and that was when I started to kind of get a better understanding of his struggles and what he was going through. My brothers and I, and my family in general, felt that the best way for us to deal with it is be quite open with it. My oldest brother is more than comfortable talking about his mental health issues and struggles and well-being with us as a family. When I have a bad day or am going through something and I go to him, he tells me about his experiences and what worked best for him. But yeah, I think the way we dealt with it, particularly now, is just to be quite open with it and upfront and honest. But as you said, I think that it is becoming more normalised in society to talk about mental health issues and struggles, and I think men especially, it's becoming more, it's prominent now. You can see that men are becoming more open about it. I think one of the people that stands out for me when I think of a catalyst in change in moving from a taboo subject into something that's now more normalised in talking about is John Kerwin and what he did. I've met John Kerwin, and I played touch rugby and football with his son, and grew up with his son a little bit, and so I was associated with John through my family, and seeing him, who obviously a character which this country idolises, seeing him be so open about his struggles with mental illness, when you have characters like that, I think that's a catalyst for change, and I think now we're starting to move more into the normalised. I think the key messages that I learnt when I was learning about the things and how it was impacting my brother's life and our family and how we were to deal with it was that you don't necessarily have to constantly be asking if they're okay, but when they reach out to you, you have to be there for them. You don't constantly have to be asking how they feel and if he's okay and are things getting any better, but when they reach out to you, you got to be there and got to be available to speak to them and do what they need. He's always talking to us about that as well, and he's saying, I've been through some pretty dark times and struggled through some horrible places, so when you think you're facing a challenge that seems too steep to overcome, it never is, because and all of us brothers and our family use him as motivation, and to see him enjoying his life now and in such a good place is truly inspirational. Through my difficult times at this club, I was quite lucky. I used the PFA and their resources. They have resources which you can use, and they cover the costs, and they arrange everything quite discreetly and privately. I was able to see a sports psychologist, who gave me tools to use, set targets, set goals, and just kind of got me back to thinking about what I could achieve rather than what I wasn't achieving at that time. And so I was very lucky to have that kind of support structure at this club and through the PFA to get me through those times. I guess you're surrounded by friends and family who care about you, and if you have the ability to tell them, you know that they're going to support you in whatever way they can. And I think taking that first step is obviously a big challenge and a big hurdle for many, but once you voice your problems to somebody else, everybody around you is going to help.